Hi class, this is Dita. We're going to talk about primary research here. I thought I would drill this down just a little bit more and offer my 2 cents worth on the primary and secondary sources. Right now I'm actually in the Regis Library and looking for primary sources with Business Source Complete. Now, if I were to actually come in here and do a search for entrepreneurs, just the term entrepreneurs, I'm actually going to see a listing of 74,698 articles. In order for it to be considered primary, the easiest thing to do is come over here under Limited To, click the Scholarly Peer-Reviewed Journals, and now that breaks this down just a little bit further to 12,825. Now let me show you a little bit of the anatomy of a primary research article. Primary simply means that these are the folks that actually conducted the research and this is their findings. So if we end up coming in here and taking a look at this article, it's a PDF, and you'll see some a very distinct format, and that's why I'm kind of picky around the format. You'll notice first it has an abstract and then it has an introduction. So let's go to our academic paper. And you'll notice here as we come down, this is the abstract. The executive summary is essentially our abstract. And then if we get past the table of contents, this problem definition is going to be the same thing as our introduction. Okay, and then this next section is going to be the literature review. And if we come back to our paper, it's going to be the literature review is going to be the background history of the problem. And what we're going to want to do is make this academic. So you're going to use the research that you conducted, the primary and secondary research, and you're going to chunk that into this section. But I wanted you to see what this looks like. So they conducted this research area, and you'll notice that every paragraph essentially is sourced. This should not be opinionated in the least, okay? This really should be talking about what you found in your research and who are the people out there talking about it. Depending upon the topic, if it's technologically oriented or economically trending at all, I wouldn't go past 4 years because of how volatile the economy has been and how volatile the technology has improved and increased or changed over the last few years. So then as we kind of go through, this is all literature review or background in history. And then as we come down here, you're going to actually see, if I can get there, methodology. There it is. So methodology is actually going to be the research design section. Now let's go back to our paper. I'm going to close this one, I get confused. Okay, so background history. This section we take a little bit of a reprieve because we're actually in the planning stages in this class. So we're going to say this is how we're actually going to put everything together. But we do have to think through first, what design are we going to have? And that's this section that comes after the objectives and the timeline. And you're going to talk about how is the research designed exactly. And then we're going to come down here. This is all part of the design. And then it's all part of the design. And then we say the data measurement. How are we actually going to measure this research? How are we going to analyze it? And recommendations section is actually going to be in capstone. So as we come down next, we're just talking about how we're going to do it. Then we're going to talk about how are we going to collect our data, and then what's our presentation going to look like, and what are we going to say in terms of the analysis. And so we're going to put in some examples here of what that's going to look like. If I come back here to the academic paper, they're basically putting in their tables and grids, and this is what they put together in terms of their design section. And then recommendations for future study, conclusion, and then the references. So you'll see a very similar flow in our process as a regular academic paper. Now, let me just kind of make a shift here. This is an academic journal. In terms of primary research, another way to do primary research is going out and getting specific data, and it's specific if you're going to be looking at statistical information that you need to put together for a marketing plan or a business startup plan. This section in here under week 2, primary sources, I listed a whole bunch of sources. Okay, so if we actually came here to this summary, this section in here. I think it's, let me see if we can see the source. I actually went into, this is Bureau of Labor Statistics, super great source. I'll count anything in here as well for primary sourcing. And if we click on, if we go into this page here, where it gives all the states. So if we ended up just going into Colorado, and I'm going to go, let's see here, Boulder, Denver area. Let's go ahead and go into the PDF. This is going to be just fabulous information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics around the economy. And you'll notice here that we have unemployment rates, we have weekly wages, and you can see statistical information around trends around employment. And even in here, we have information around different kinds of industries, and et cetera, et cetera. And you'll notice here, you know, for the food truck idea, we've got where they fit in terms of 12.9% annual expenditures here. It's 2013, it's a little dated, but we're still within a couple years. Average hourly wages and things like that. So this gives a very specific region of things that you can go into. So great information. This site here, you could probably spend a good couple hours to kind of drill down in your area and in your industry. Here's some data tools so you can take a look at maps, calculators, things like that. But just super stuff. So if we go in here, inflation and pricing, but definitely worth including in your primary research. Okay, so that is kind of giving you a snapshot on primary versus secondary, at least primary. If we were to take a look at, say for example, just a general Google search, and we typed in entrepreneurship, let's say, let's take off the org. Let's say we just do entrepreneurship, just a general Google search. And it brings up Wikipedia. Let me see here. Let me go down. So in this general Google search, on the first page, we're going to actually see the rise of social entrepreneurship. So it's from Forbes. Sounds interesting. So I'm going to go in here and take a look at it, see if there's anything that we may want to incorporate. Let's see here. So it gives us this article, The Rise of Social Entrepreneurship Suggests a Possible Future for Global Capitalism. Okay, that's fine. And let me go down here a little bit. Using profit to fund purposes. Now, when I read this, am I seeing an abstract at all? No. Am I seeing a literature review? No. So I'm kind of going down through the article. Interesting stuff, but I'm not seeing anything that gets sourced, and I'm not seeing any methodology, and I'm not seeing recommendations section, I'm not seeing a reference section, and so of course it's still a great article, and it leads us to all kinds of other crowdfunding for startups, which would be a fascinating. Also would be good to have that in your background and history as a way to make money or raise money for your business. But essentially what I'm talking about here is this is secondary. This is obviously a secondary article. Can you use it? Sure you can. I just need to make sure that you have enough academic sources in there to balance it out. Okay, that kind of gives us now a little bit of a comparison between secondary and primary, and hopefully that helps. See you later. Bye.